Hey everybody, this is Dr. Jesse Jackson III, best-selling author and facilitator of the Don't Kick 'Em Out book and training series. Welcome. This video is for our superintendents and our principals, and it's about the issue that typically most leadership personnel really struggle with, and it's this thing called staffing. Staffing is something that has to be consistently worked on. There's no training on the right staff. What we find is that many districts, many leaders, many principals and superintendents, they actually every single year hire the wrong people based on the wrong reasons, and they don't get the level of production that they need. So if you're a new principal, one of the things you need to understand, new superintendent, it typically takes about 3 years to get the staff formula right. This is what we're seeing. It typically takes 3 years, but now every year you've got to be changing the percentages. We like to say you should turn your staff over to the right people by about 20% a year till you get the formula down and correct. Now, many organizations, number one issue they have is employee turnover, and that's bad and good. Turnover, depending on where you're at in your process, could be positive. Depending on what you're dealing with, it could be extremely negative. So the first thing to understand is it takes typically 3 years. Our real-time practice has shown it takes about 3 years to get the right staff formula, and even then, and I think a right staff formula, what we see is right around that 90%, where you have 90% of your people who are moving the program forward. That's one thing. The second thing is when we look at some pillars on our 10 signs of failing districts and failing schools, the two things you see there's repeated bad hires. People don't know how to hire. They don't know how to interview. I'm just in an interview the other day, and I'm there, the superintendent's there, one of their other hired guns are there. But these are some serious hiring situations. This is why I was asked to come in and sit there. And I'm listening to the other person ask these questions of the new folks. And I'm listening like, why is that? What relevance does that question have to do to the bottom line? So I get right to it. Remember, I hire, okay, so I get right to it. What do we really want to know? The difficult questions. Okay, if you're dealing with a finance person, I need to know what type of budgets you manage. Do you steal? Do you know people that steal? What's your credit score? How do you prioritize your assignments in terms of, is your boss priority? Is it paying the bills priority? I need to get to it. A lot of times you get these smart people that are asking these ridiculous questions. Well, I'm an employer, okay? And so I understand some bottom line things about employment. It's called production. And I need to be comfortable with a person, but I need to also know some very key and critical things. And when you hire, it's a way it has to be done. Guys, I can guarantee you if I was involved in your hiring process, you would get a higher ratio of success. Like, take for another example, I have a colleague that said to me he really struggles with hiring because he can't really get a gauge for people over the phone. Well, that's not going to work anymore, because you're going to have to get a gauge for people over the phone, and you got to learn how to feel people. You got to learn how to ask the right questions. Listen, in an interview process, it's about discomfort. Interview process is about discomfort. That's what an interview process is about. We're trying to see how you're responding, what exactly you know, what you don't know, how you're going to deal with some things, and that's what the process is about. And an interview is not about comfort. It's not about comfort. It's about throwing loose. It's about finding out what you want to know. And they will not fire or toxic people or people who don't work. So when you see a district, they've got all these people that they know are sabotaging the boss, but then on the flip side, they wonder why nothing's happening in the company. Toxic people essentially means they're not aligned with the mission. They're not aligned with the vision and the direction we're going. So if they're not aligned, that means we spend a lot of time on adult misbehavior and a lot less time on production and helping children and getting an A on our state report card. And whenever you have or allow people who don't work to stay employed with you, what you do is you basically put your program in park and essentially say, we're going to wait here a few years till we can get you off the bus. and that's exactly what's happening. So I want to show principals and superintendents the positions you can't miss on. Now, we do understand sometimes you're going to miss. Okay, sometimes you're going to miss. You don't have to, but sometimes you're going to miss. And here's the other side of it. We understand that any employee that's coming in the program today is going to have to be trained. So, typically most folks are not going to come perfect, but the key is your employee training program. It has to change because whoever we get's going to need some help to acclimate to our system and to do the things we need to do, but we want to make sure it's the right person. Here's the key. These are some positions there cannot be failure. So assistant principal, if I'm a principal, these are key and critical areas I cannot have the wrong person. Number one, an assistant principal. If I'm a principal and I have someone in my program that is not sold out to helping my vision move forward, then I have the wrong person. I can't afford to have the wrong assistant. It doesn't even sound right. The assistant principal job is the most selfless job in the business. So you cannot afford to have someone who is not sold out to seeing your vision move forward. I have seen far too many cases where a person has had a toxic AP and seen their vision, their mission, and even sometimes even fired because they got the wrong AP. So as a new principal or a principal that's under 3 years, you have to understand that AP job is selfless. It's typically how you got the job because you learned service. I can't have the wrong AP. The wrong AP will get me beat. Number two, I have to have the teacher, what I call in my test grades. So the teacher in my test grades, I've got to have a great relationship with. So if you got elementary and you're testing in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th, those teachers have to be we got to be family because they are the teachers that give me my money. So I've got to have a great rapport with them. I can't afford to have in those core grades, I can't have fill-ins. And a lot of times we take a penalty because we think it's better to just fill a position versus wait. I've never seen that work. I do understand you have to have some positions filled. I've never seen just filling a position outside of waiting for the right person. I've never seen it work. I understand you have to do it. I've never seen it work. I understand you have to do it. I have never seen it work. So it's something that you need to be aware of. But that key relationship with the teacher and then the office manager. For a superintendent, I can say very definitively, I've never seen a superintendent successful that doesn't have the right office person, the assistant who handles their business for them. I've never seen one be successful. I mean, I've personally sat in the office of over 170 superintendents. I've never seen one be successful that didn't have the right office person. Not one. I've never seen it done. So it's not going to happen today. That person has to be handpicked. So even if, let's just say, you're a superintendent or a principal, if I inherit a secretary, I can keep that person 1 year, but by year 2, I've got to have my own person. So you can keep that person 1 year, but by year 2, you got to have your own person. And that's the key. Okay, that office position or that person that handles your business for you is going to determine whether you win or not. I've never seen it work outside of that because they are too vital to your day-to-day life. They protect you from a lot of foolishness, a lot of people coming to you with foolishness, just barging into your space. The right office person and assistant is critical to your success. These are the staffing realities that I need us to understand, and when you understand those things, you get a much better outcome. We can't go into this year of hiring and make some of the same mistakes we have in the past. I need us to be very detailed and understand that we've got to get this hiring thing and this staffing thing worked out. A lot of things that with a lot of the districts I work with, I just say let me be a part of the interview. I don't need to be there long, 5 minutes. I can look at the person on video and kind of tell you, ask the right things, gauge which way. And it's just some things we need to understand. We can't keep making the same mistakes. And so I'm here to help. I'm here to be of service so that folks can stop making those same hardcore hurtful mistakes, so they can get the right team they need, so they can move the program forward. If you know I can help you, as always, give us a call, email us, and we're always working towards getting you the help you need to be successful. I hope these things help. As always, if these things are beneficial, share them with your colleagues. This is Dr. Jackson. I'm looking forward to working with you soon. I'll see you in class.